This is going to be one of the most important videos that I create on running and starting a small business or a repair shop. And this deals with the subject of employees. It's very, very easy to find employees. It's very easy. It's very hard to find help. That's why I miss newspapers that said help wanted, because that's what I want. I don't want employees. Employees are people that you throw money away on. Help is when you give away money and you actually get back far more than what you pay for. Now, I'm going to try my best to keep this video short, because if I expound on each individual point with anecdotes, this is going to go on for hours and hours. So if you have any questions, comments, complaints, etc., put them in the comments and I'll try to further expound on it. The first part of hiring people comes from a Quincy Jones interview that I was listening to about Michael Jackson's Thriller album. When he hired Eddie Van Halen to play on Beat It, he said, "I'm not hiring you to tell you what to play. I don't want to tell you what to play. I hired you because of what you do play. So play it. Some of it's going to be silly or over-animated or ridiculous or weird, but we're going to work with it. And I want you to play what it is you play. That's what's going to go on this album." They didn't write any music for him. And that's how I hired my current staff. I didn't tell my technician, "Here's how I expect you to do this. Here's how I expect you to do that, blah, blah, blah. Here's how I want you to organize everything." I hired him because I knew, based on his working environment, and I knew based on his character from meeting him 2 or 3 times and he was picking up parts, that this person has the capability to do these things. All I have to do is let him loose and let him do what it is that he does best, which is fix things and organize. And that's exactly what he did. Now, there were some things that I didn't agree with, and there were some policies he was used to that I didn't really agree with, and we worked together on it, and we came up with what works well for us. And that's how I hire the salesman, that's how I hire new people. For everything but the lowest level job, I look to have you do what you do best and stay out of the way. I'm only there to make sure that the store doesn't burn down. I'm not really there to tell you exactly how to do what it is you do. Now, this comes from hiring really smart people. Let's go to the most basic part of hiring smart people, the job ad. Most human resources departments post the most stupid, ridiculous job ads, even in Fortune 500 companies, where they can afford people that were college graduates that specialized in working in human resources working for them. They write these most ridiculous job ads. It'll say something like, "Salary commensurate with experience, professional work environment." Blah. What? That's boring. That's mediocre. That sucks. Salary commensurate with experience or competitive wage. Great. That means that you pay the same as everybody else. Who pays $900,000 a year for a janitor? Nobody. Who pays $120,000 a year to make fried chicken at McDonald's? Nobody. Everybody pays a salary commensurate with experience. Everybody pays a competitive wage. Let's talk about a professional environment. Let's say your profession is a hairstylist. So a hair salon that is professional is going to be one in which you can work and do your profession. So you're going to have the chair that you can lift them up on, you're going to have that round hair drying thing, you're going to have some shampoo, some combs, a cash register to take people's money, and a sign that says hair salon. The same as every other fucking hair salon. So when you put up a job ad where you say, "This is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, salary commensurate with experience, professional work environment," what you're saying is that you're going to get paid the same shit that you are now, to do the same shit in the same boring ass environment. And that's not going to attract amazing people. Think about what you're putting in your job ad. How about something like this? No management, no bullshit, no idiots. That would actually attract good people. That's going to attract people like the guy who was working on Android that just currently went to work for Yahoo because he got so goddamn tired of the Qualcomm lawsuits and all the other crap when he was working at Google. That's what's going to inspire good employees to come work for you. Good employees are tired of management, are tired of bureaucracy, are tired of unnecessary shit. And if you tell them that this bullshit is not a part of your company, they're going to be interested in working for you. I'm not saying that you should make a job ad that says, "No morons, no bureaucracy, no bullshit." Come up with your own version of this, but come up with what makes your company truly unique. And if your company is not truly unique, think about what should change within your company to make it attractive to these employees. You want your company to be magnetic. You want it to attract these amazing people so that they are constantly reminded as to why they should stay with you. Because the best employees are going to be employees that are constantly being pulled away from you by everybody else. I'm not trying to be harsh here, but the best employees are not found by putting up an ad on Monster. They're not looking on Monster. They're not looking on Craigslist. The best people are constantly in demand. They don't need to find a job. The job finds them. People like me look out there and go, this guy is really good at what he does. What do I need to get that guy to stop working there and start working here? There are people like me out there who are constantly looking to take employees that are already doing amazing jobs, that are waiting for that guy to quit his job so that there's a space for them here. Those guys don't need Craigslist. They don't need Backpage. They don't need Monster.com. Now, let's move on to motivation and affordability. A lot of people will say, I just can't afford a good staff. You know what? Shitty bosses bribe their staff with $65,000 a year in 401ks and benefits and healthcare. Great bosses inspire their staff and motivate them towards working towards a common goal. Great bosses make it so obvious that the company is doing this and that your success is parallel with the company, that they know that they're part of a greater vision, that they're part of a greater plan, and they're going to want to be along for the ride. They're going to want to be involved with your vision. It's the same thing that I say about dealing with part suppliers. If you're just one little business with one person just trying to get by, you're going to get the price tier from that company for just a little business that's just trying to get by. If you're a company that's trying to take over the world, well, you're going to get the discount that comes from trying to take over the world. You're going to get net terms that they only give to the company that's trying to take over the world. And that's what you need to do with your employees. Show them what it is they're working towards. At my company, it's not just a shop that repairs laptops, puts up AdWords, gets stuff in, fixes it, and gets it out the door. No, we're looking to do things better, faster, and at an affordable price. We're looking for people to come here and go, wow, I can't believe you do that. I was told that every other place you had to replace this whole thing. No, you don't. You can only do this, and it's only going to be $75 or $100 or $200. And they go, wow! That wow on the face of everybody that comes in is what keeps us doing this. The fact that people are incredibly happy, the fact that other businesses hate that we exist, the fact that we get to be ourselves, that we get to tell people, no, get the fuck out of here when they say the screen cracked again 6 months later, it's because of us. The fact that we get to be ourselves and that we get to make money being ourselves, and the fact that our work is actually directly related to the fact that our profits are going up, that's what makes work exciting. We have a clear vision of what makes us different from other companies. I convey this vision to everybody who works here every day and explain to them how they are each a part of why we are where we are. And that motivates them far more than a 401k. That's boring. That's what corporate executives have to give to people so that they will deal with the drudgery and the bullshit of normal work. Now, I talked a little bit about no bureaucracy, no bullshit, no morons, and I want to expound a little bit on what that means without taking up 1 or 2 hours. Let me use one basic example. I know I said I was going to try to limit the examples, but I'll make one example. We noticed that a lot of things that were coming in were just getting lost or not where they were supposed to be. So I decided to institute a check-in log where every single thing that came in, no matter how fucking insignificant, if this was the home button flex that would cost $7 to a 5-year-old Samsung Galaxy phone, it was going to be checked into this stupid log. And it was going to say the date, the tracking number, the recipients, what was inside, all this crap. Now, the problem is instead of simply opening something as soon as it came in and getting it to where it needed to be, it had to go through this log. But that meant that there had to be somebody attending to it. Let's say the person attending to it was on the phone, or handling a return, or handling 5 returns, or checking somebody else out, or doing something else. This would not get done until later. Let's say it was a really busy day. That wouldn't get done until later. Now, this is where bureaucracy comes into place and things become inefficient. The technician may actually be sitting doing nothing because he has nothing to do when 3 jobs are waiting on parts and those parts are right here. The shipper may not have something to do because there is no stock to ship because the parts are not in stock when they would be on the website if this person would check them in. Eventually, I decided, let me get a separate returns and check-in person and a separate receptionist slash receptionist slash phone answering person. Now, what I thought would be done here is less mistakes and a faster job because she would be less stressed. She would do this, he would do that, and since they were both doing less work, there would be less mistakes. What actually happened is twice as many mistakes because I wasn't dealing with one idiot's idiosyncrasies, I was dealing with 2 dumbasses' idiosyncrasies. And that made me much more frustrated. So I was actually spending more money to get less work done and had more bureaucracy. I got to a point where I had 5 or 6 people running around every day, not knowing what the fuck they were doing, not getting anything done. And I want to explain how I changed that. I started hiring people where I'm not hiring you to tell you what to do. I'm hiring you because of what you do. I'm going to talk about how trust replaces management. Management is a waste in and of itself. Management should only be to motivate people to do what they have the capability to do. Management should be making sure that people keep walking in the door. Management should be making sure these people have an opportunity to be who they are. Management is not telling them, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. Let me fix what you did wrong, let me fix what you did wrong. And I'm not trying to go off on a tangent on all these other subjects, but a lot of management is actually telling people how to do their job. A lot of people think management is being God. They have problems brought to them, they fix the problem. This employee blew the backlight fuse, I'll fix the backlight fuse, now I'm God. This customer's angry because they fucked up, I'm going to go over to the customer and make them happy, now I'm God. You don't want to be God. Being God is a shitty, shitty job. I spent 10 hours a day at work once upon a time, and every 45 seconds, somebody would walk up to me and have a problem and go, Lewis, how do I do this? Lewis, can you help me with this? Lewis, can you help me with that? I got to a point where I could not accomplish anything if it took more than 45 seconds to do, because somebody would come to me with a problem. If you fix the problem the first time, they're not going to want to figure it out on their own, because they're always going to know that they can come back to you when there's a problem. And that is not good management. That is being God. You don't want to be God. God is already God. You want to be a business owner. You don't want to be the person that has to solve every problem. That's what you hire help for. Employees bring you problems. Help solves problems. Hire help. Don't hire employees. Don't hire employees. Hire help. I was reading a book the other day, and it was discussing somebody in the Army who wanted their platoon to get set up with their weapons and everything in a certain area, and it took something like almost an hour, and he was just face-palming at the entire experience. And I'm going to paraphrase a lot here, but he asked somebody of a similar ranking in the Army, how long should this take? And that guy said 15 minutes. So he went over to his platoon and said, this should take 12 minutes. I don't care how you do it, but this is what we need to do. This is the standard we need to do it to, and you need it to be done in 12 minutes. A few days later, they came up to him grinning, saying, we're ready for you to time us. And they got the thing done in about 10 minutes. Now, he didn't go to them with a bunch of rules and say, here's how you do it, here's how you do it, here's what we do here, here's how we fix this problem. He said, here's what I need you to do, here's the time frame I need you to do it in. I don't care what you do, just do it, accomplish it. And they got it done in 10 minutes. It's 2 minutes under the time he gave them. It's 5 minutes under the time of the general who had a veteran crew working for him. And this is an important point. Shitty bosses make rules. Good bosses have standards that they want you to live up to. They have ideas. They have a vision. Good bosses have a vision of what needs to be done, and they tell the people how to do it. Because you don't need rules. That guy in the Army took a 100-page handbook and had it set up whatever weapon system, whatever it is that they were doing, and threw it away and replaced it with 2 pages of standards, of his vision of what needs to be done. And that 2 pages got his crew to the point where it was taking them almost an hour to do something, to a point where it took them 10 minutes. And they became one of the top platoons for whatever it is they're doing. I'm sorry for the ignorance. I'm not really familiar with the military. And I'm also paraphrasing a book that I was reading on the subway. But the point is, you shouldn't make all these rules. You shouldn't be a problem solver. The employee is the problem solver. The employees should be following your vision. They shouldn't be following your rules. They should be following your standards. I want you to know the difference between a vision and a rule. Rules are worthless. Now, let's go back to trust. Let's go back to hiring a smart staff. If I had an employee that simply knew what needed to be done when this thing came in, that was smart enough to not lose it. Somebody who said, this looks like it belongs to this, based on the fact that it's addressed to this person. Or, we are a shop that fixes phones. This is a single phone part. He probably didn't order a single phone part to put online because people may buy more than one. He probably bought this for a repair service. So that person would take that over to the ticket and it would just get done. If I ordered 80 of something, and there's a thing on the board that says, I have an invoice for 80 of this, they would go, this goes with that. And it was just that simple. I didn't need this ridiculous check-in log anymore. I still use it for certain things, but I didn't need this entire log. The bureaucracy, the waste was removed and replaced with common sense. It was replaced with trust. Trust does not require a check-in log. Trust does not require a bureaucracy. Trust does not require management. Trust is a replacement for management. And you can only have trust when your employees are not ridiculously dumb. Management is not necessary when you have people who simply know how to do their job. I don't want you to create more bureaucracy, more bullshit, more rules, more systems. You don't need more systems. You need people who know how to do the job that you're giving them to do. Now I want to talk a little bit about the responsibilities involved here. Your employees may have a responsibility to you to do a job, but you have a much, much greater responsibility to your staff. You have a responsibility, if you have an intelligent staff, if you have a motivated staff, that people that actually care about what it is they're doing, to make sure that they have an environment within which to continue doing what they do. My responsibility to my staff is to make sure I still have 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 tickets coming in every day. My responsibility to the shipping staff is to make sure that they are so inundated with orders that they don't even have time to take a piss half the time because they have to keep shipping things to happy customers. My job is to make sure that they still have an opportunity to demonstrate how amazing they are at what they do. And my job is not to correct or solve their problems. My job is to find people who are good at solving problems and make them better. A lot of people, when asked, what is the best boss you've ever had? They're going to say that the best boss they had was somebody where they were actually better for being around them. It's not about that boss fixing their problems. The best boss does not fix my problems. My best boss was somebody where, when he was in the room and working, I was actually motivated to do better, and I actually did do better. Those are the best bosses. The best bosses are not people that just run in and play God. The best bosses are people who motivate you to achieve better, that actually know what type of environment it is that you need. The best bosses are people that say, this is what's wrong with this environment. You would actually do better if you were in this other environment, that make that environment happen, and have a natural sense about them to notice when things are wrong and can be better for the people who work at the company. The job of a boss or a manager is not to be God, because it's very easy when you own a business. It's very easy when you jump up the ranks of a company to go, I work above these people now. Let's clean up and show these people how I work. And they go around firing and making up standards and saying, do this faster, do that faster, and it bolsters their ego. And then within a year or 2 or 3, they lose their job, or the department fails, or they become miserable, or everybody hates working for them and quits. And that's not the way to run an effective company. That's not the way to run an effective business. Also, I may have already mentioned this in this video. Again, you may think that you can't afford these type of employees, and you can't afford the kind of people that are self-starters, the kind of people that don't fuck up, the kind of people who are motivated to do everything properly. Yes, you can. But again, bad bosses bribe their employees. Bad bosses bribe their employees with 6-figure salaries, 401ks, and great health benefits, and a membership to the New York Sports Club. Amazing bosses simply motivate their employees by saying, this is where the company is going. This is where you're going. And not just by saying it, but by living it every single day, by making them feel like they are a part of the success that they are creating. They are not simply doing work. They are creating a success that is shared amongst everybody who is a part of it. Every single day, the people who work here are clicking the admin panel on our software to see how much we made this month versus last month, to see what we made today, to see how many people we made happy today. They are happy every single time somebody comes in and is amazed at the work that we did, that somebody else wasn't capable of doing, that somebody else couldn't do properly, that somebody else wanted way too much money for, or that somebody else simply didn't know how to do. That energizes us. That is what motivates us. When we're allowed to tell somebody, no, I'm not going to do this for you because you simply seem like a pain in the ass. That motivates us. That's something that other companies don't do. Other companies will not say, I'm sorry, I know you are my client, but I am firing you. Other companies are not going to tell people, I'm sorry, no, get out of here, when they say, my screen broke again 2 months later and it was because of you. The people here enjoy being able to be who they are. And the fact that who they are actually allows them to be successful, opposed to fitting into my rules, that motivates them, that excites them. And the fact that they can actually become more and more successful is what excites them and makes them want to work here every day. I'm not bribing my employees. I'm not saying, please, I hope you don't leave. Here's a raise of 30%. I don't do that. I give people raises commensurate with the success that my business earns. And I remind them every single day how it is that who they are contributes to my business's success. I don't tell them, if you leave, I would go under, I need you, what do I need for you to stay? I don't do that because that's wrong. And it's as much as I love the staff I have, it is not true. But you do need to make them feel like they are a part of something that is going somewhere. It's not just oh yeah, we're going to come to work today and work for 10 hours and make somebody else a bunch of money. It's not like that. It's about, okay, I'm going to go to work today and be who I am. And by being who I am, I'm going to make this place more successful. You want your employees to be a part of the success that they are creating for you. That's how you're going to get the most motivated workforce. Another dumbass mistake I see made is that business owners and managers and executives will often hire people to do jobs that they themselves do not want to do. Which begs the question, if you don't want to do the job, why in God's name should somebody else want to do the job? Again, a lot of this video is about motivation, how people properly motivated do great work. So if you can't even justify to yourself why you would want to do this, how the fuck are you going to get somebody else to do it? If you, as the business owner who directly benefits from the work being done, does not want to do this, how is somebody who's getting $8 or $10 or $12 an hour going to want to do this stupid-ass job? Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, somebody needs to answer the phone. Somebody needs to take the glass out of this device. Somebody needs to check these things in. And, you know, we do a lot of mundane things every day that are okay because there's variety. Where it becomes something that makes us hate it is when it's what we have to do for 5 or 6 or 8 hours at a time with nothing else. So what I've done here is I've tried to look at companies that have these programs where employees can come and go as they please and make up their own schedules and do work from home, because I always used to think that this was just some foofy horseshit so that they could get on the front of a magazine as Employer of the Year. And the reality is that that's not how it works. Most of these companies have one thing in common, and the one thing that they have in common is that they don't have job titles. They're people who work on a team to do something, but it's not like this person only does this. This other person only does that. Or in a repair shop, this person fixes iPads. This person fixes motherboards. This person answers the phone. And with that kind of setup, you're kind of fucked, because if this person leaves for a day, now you have nobody to answer the phone. If this other person leaves for a day, now no iPads get fixed. So how are you're never going to be able to have a flexible schedule. Whereas if you have a business setup where everybody kind of shares the responsibility, you will get things done. Now, you can't have this with unmotivated staff, because without any one specific person to have a final responsibility to have something done, it'll never get done. And if everybody gets to choose what their job is, you'll have a lot of people that just choose to do no work. But with the right staff, where everybody joins in to answer the phone, where everybody will work on specific repairs, where everybody will do sales depending on the customer, this can work. Now, I'm not going to have my lead technician deal with a sales call to a school that's about to do $30,000 worth of business, nor am I going to have my receptionist do component level repair on a motherboard. But my receptionist can fix an iPad, and I brag about this very often. My receptionist can fix an iPad without ripping the antennas. My technician will deal with customers and make them happy and even walk people through everything, and he's not exactly what I would call a cuddly, sociable guy. But the point is that each one of us is doing all of the work. It's not like this person only answers the phone all day. This person just sits in a room and only does this one repair all day. Because when you get mundane like that, it gets really boring and really miserable really fast. You want to keep your staff from being miserable in their jobs so they stay motivated. And one of the ways to avoid that misery is to change things up, is to have people all share in the collective work that has to be done. Now, obviously, this is a little bit more difficult because you need to have a talented team. You need to have somebody who actually knows how to chew gum and turn a screwdriver at the same time. You need somebody that knows how to fix something, but without being an arrogant asshole when a customer calls and has a couple of questions. But the way it works at my business, everybody does a little bit of everybody's job. We don't have one specific job title. I do have a salesman, I do have a technician, I do have a receptionist, but at the same time, each one of these people will do each other's job when needed, so that, it's not like, oh, you'll have to come back when this person is here, or, oh, that guy's not in today. We don't have any of that bullshit here. Each one of us is fully equipped to answer any of the questions that virtually anybody may have. Each one of us is equipped to handle 90% of the repairs that comes in. And because of this, it's really easy for a 9 or 10 or a 15-hour day to go by and for it to feel like that, because we're not doing the same shit over and over and over. How can you have a 5 or 4-hour workday for a receptionist when you need somebody to answer the phone for 8 hours? You can't. But if you take a teamwork approach to it, you can have everybody come in much less. There are firms that have actually went to the point where they say, instead of working 40 hours a week, You're all going to work 30 hours a week for the same amount of money. And the way they were able to accomplish this was by eliminating the amount of work, by eliminating the specific job titles that force people to waste time. Because a lot of the times, there's no phone calls. So what's your receptionist going to do? There are times where there's no difficult repairs to do. So what's your senior tech going to do? There are times when there are nobody to be contacted, nobody to be sold new repairs, nobody to be sold on why they should spend $40,000 on this particular product with us instead of going with the other vendor for $37,000. And during those periods of time, there's nothing for them to do. Have people collectively share the workload, because this accomplishes a few things. Firstly, it allows you to waste less employee time because you're paying for these people to be there, especially if you're paying by the hour. You'll need them to be there for less amount of time. The second thing it does is cross-training. People don't like being uninformed. And once they start doing something a little bit, they're going to kind of want to start doing that a lot. Once my receptionist started fixing iPhones, she really, really wanted to know how to do the iPad. She started and she's like, this is miserable and I stripped the screw, what do I do? Now she wants to learn how to do everything. She even wants to learn how to do the CDMA volume flex, which is, as I like to call it, an anaconda with wings. It's just a disgusting, fucked up repair to do that I don't want anything to do with. She wants to learn. I saw her the other day putting on goggles and dremeling something, and it was funny. The technician ran out and goes, whoa, 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 what are you doing with the Dremel? Because she had never used the Dremel before, so it would have been very, very plausible that she wound up cutting off her finger. But the point is that people really like getting involved in this stuff. And when you start this cross-involvement from people of different departments, you get a more well-rounded staff. People don't want to deal with a salesman that knows nothing about his product. People don't want to deal with a technician that never wants to talk to people. And people don't want to deal with a receptionist that only knows how to say, this is when we're open, these are our hours, that doesn't know how to answer, so do you think it's the backlight I see of the fuse, who doesn't know how to explain this answer properly to a customer. It's good if you break up the mundane crap so that you can keep people motivated. Don't give people jobs that you yourself do not want to do. If you think that sitting in a chair and doing something for 8 hours a day is miserable, don't put an ad on Craigslist saying, this is a job. It doesn't matter how much money you bribe this person, they are never going to want to work for you. Now, one of the most important notes here, what makes a good friend, what makes a good human being, and what makes a good employee are three separate, distinct things. Do not say that somebody's going to be a good friend because they're a good person. Do not think somebody's a good person because they're a good employee. And do not think somebody's going to be a good friend because they're a good employee. It doesn't work like that. I've had people that I believe to be more intelligent, smarter, and more level-headed than me that would ship things to the wrong country, that would not plug the DCN board into the logic board, 10 keyboard repairs in a row. I've just hired the silliest, and I've just made the worst employment decisions possible. Obviously, do not make the mistake of hiring somebody just based on one recommendation. Don't make the mistake of hiring somebody because you know them and you know them to be level-headed. Don't hire. You're going to just be very, very frustrated when they have an overnight label in their hand and they decide to go to the bathroom and then not come back because their shift is over while leaving that label on the table. And again, I've hired people who were really good, intelligent, kind, well-spoken people who just failed at their job. And I've hired people that I thought were kind of degenerates that actually really, really excelled at their job. And at times I've hired people that I thought, this person does not have a functioning brain, and they wound up learning how to do things that to this day I don't even know how to do. And it's one of the things that surprised me more than anything else. But you really have no idea what people are capable of or what people are capable of fucking up until they're in that position. So don't jump to the conclusion that somebody's going to be good at something because you know them, or that they're going to be bad at it because you don't know them. Once you have a staff that is amazing, once you have a staff that is motivated, that feels like they share the success that they're a part of with you, once you have a staff that doesn't make silly, nonsensical mistakes, once you're able to stop playing God, once you're able to stop being a manager and start being a motivator, once you can start being and I hate this word, it's an inside joke because the person who always used to use it was a raging cokehead who owed people hundreds of thousands of dollars. Once you get to be a visionary, you'll realize just how good it is. And I think that everybody who owns a business should have that experience. I want all of you to experience having not just an intelligent staff, not just a well-paid staff, but a motivated staff that aligns their success with yours. Everybody watching this video deserves to have a staff that takes pride in the work they do. A staff that takes pride in coming to work every day and saying, I work here. I am who I am, and I am a part of this business's success because. Every single one of your staff members should be able to answer that question. Every single person on your staff should be somebody that fits the mold that I've described to you. And everybody watching this video deserves to have people like that working for them. I want you to have people like that working for you because let me tell you something, it's more rewarding than the money that you will make, it's more rewarding than all the profits, it's more rewarding than even the success that your business will have. When you align yourself with employees that are this good, it is not just a boss to employee relationship. It's an alliance for success. You're going to make my business better. I'm going to make your career better. Let's see what we can both do together to make each other more successful. It's not just you do this work so that I can collect money. Because if that's your outlook when you're hiring an employee, it's never ever going to work. You're never going to get past mediocre. You're never going to get past somebody that just takes money out of the register when you're not looking. Somebody that doesn't care if there's dust behind the glass. Somebody that doesn't care if there's a lot of work to do, but it's 1 minute to leaving. You can get people that are your partners without being a percentage partner in your business. And this doesn't have to be in a relationship where you're taking advantage of them or they're taking advantage of you. When you have a business based on trust, you don't need management.